Hello, and welcome to this review of the Longhope Abbey historical romance book series by Mia Vincy. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot in you're watching Random Olive Reads. First up is A Beastly Kind of Earl, which is the prequel to the series. Thea has been banished from her home and lives a pretty lonely existence ever since she was accused of some scandalous behavior that she really didn't do. And then her younger sister Helen needs some help eloping with her beau, and Thea is on the case. Thea and Helen swap places temporarily so that Helen can get away, and Thea's supposed to just be spending time at her friend's house party. And then the beastly Earl, Rafe, shows up to do a favor in exchange for some orchids. Keep Helen away from the old man's son. So Rafe shows up with a marriage license, ready to marry Helen to keep her occupied. And Thea has to go along with it, but she knows the marriage won't be real. She doesn't realize that Rafe knows it's been Thea this whole time, and he also knows that the marriage will not be real. But he's trying to secure some money that's been in trust. These two have the best banter and bickering and understanding of each other, even as they're both lying to each other. We have the perfect blend of humor and emotional turmoil here, and I'm excited to read more. A Dangerous Kind of Lady is book one of the series. This one is the messiest fake engagement book I've ever read. Arabella and Guy were betrothed as children, but Guy is bucking against everything his father has ever commanded, so he refuses to marry her. Arabella is just trying to stall her own father's control and wants a fake engagement with Guy until her other neighbor can return to the country for a marriage of convenience. But Guy is stubborn and not listening, so he refuses, and Arabella ends up engaged to someone much more lecherous and dangerous. There's also some background plotting here with Guy's sisters and their guardian, and him slowly realizing that Arabella almost always knows best. There's scandal and intrigue, and definitely a group of strong, defiant women. I loved this book so much, and I loved how Guy and Arabella slowly learn to be honest and vulnerable with each other. A Wicked Kind of Husband is book two of the series. Cassandra and Joshua only met once on their wedding day and have been estranged for the entire 2 years of their marriage. When Cassandra goes to London to make arrangements for her sister's debut into society, Joshua doesn't even recognize her when they run into each other at the park. He just wants her to leave so he can be alone and focus on his business. But she's got a task to do to take care of her family. There's a lot of bickering and argument between these two, even though they're terribly attracted to each other. They both have their individual traumas and burdens, which prevent them from wanting to get emotionally involved with each other. This book was delightfully angsty and steamy, and I enjoyed watching these two slowly fall in love. A Scandalous Kind of Duke is book three of the series. Former childhood friends finally talk about their misconnection in this book of the series. Juno and Leo have an ill fated connection since Leo was the heir to a duke and Juno was basically abandoned by her artist parents. After a kiss in the woods as teens, Leo starts sputtering nonsense about family and duty, and she pretty much writes him off completely. When they meet again a few years later, Juno emphasizes that they're just friends and he shouldn't be worried that she's obsessed with him or anything. Clearly, she's trying to protect her own heart, but doesn't realize that he has come to chase after her. We jump even more years in the future, and Leo is officially the Duke, divorced to his first wife, and looking for a second wife. Juno is a famous artist who Leo has been warned to stop seeing, even though they're just friends. And so the friendship breakup is stirring up all these old existing feelings between the two, and they finally have to work through it. If you like pining and longing and self defensive communication, this one is for you. A Christmas Affair to Remember is book three and a half of the series. It's basically just a novella. We have a fairly quick read here with an affair between a widow and a former Navy officer. Sylvia is at a Christmas house party enjoying the good food and cheer for a bit before she commits to her fiance out in the country. While she's there, she starts an affair with Isaac, the young man who's looking to find a bride soon, but totally unsure of himself in terms of physical intimacy. So he helps himself to some lessons with the good widow, and of course, they fall in love. This was a quick and steamy read. This series is loosely tied together by a bunch of neighbors who surround the remains of Longhope Abbey, but the books can be read as standalone or in any order, really. There are hints of there being an additional book in the series involving one of these people's younger sisters, but there's no anticipated publication date on the author's website at the time of this recording. This series packs an emotional punch, plus humor and steam all into each book. I loved it so much, and I definitely recommend all of the books here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found a book or two to add to your TBR. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.